Well, we've got all sorts of activities breaking out now with the band playing in the Overlord Arena. The Deputy Lord Lieutenant is about to make his opening gambit as well and taxiing out onto the airfield. In fact, he's now rolling down the runway into what I think is a doable bit of airspace here, although it's likely to be a little bit bumpy for most of the display pilots today. But this is Ian Smith now getting airborne in the Jubilee pits. So whilst Ian just climbs to height and get himself ready to start the flying display, you can already feel the wind is picking up. So please be very careful about making sure you hand on to all your belongings. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, a massively warm welcome to you on behalf of the organisers here of this third iteration of the the Lee Victory Festival. And to open up proceedings today, literally as we're about to start flying, would you please welcome the Deputy Lord Lieutenant who is here, Alistair Welch, to welcome you all. Well, one or two hitches, and we'll get you listening into that straight away.
Ladies and gentlemen, I am here on behalf of the Lord Lieutenant of Hampshire to represent the King at the Leon Solent Victory Festival 2025. Now, the festival serves both to remember those to whom we owe so much and also to celebrate past victories. And this year is particularly special, the 80th anniversary of VE Day in May, of VEJ Day in August, and of course the 85th anniversary of the Battle of Britain this week. And it's great we have so many special aircraft involved in the display today. It's so important we do not forget the past, and there's a fantastic array of living history from the World War II era here today that really helps some of those who weren't alive during the war to appreciate something of life 80 years ago. This is one of the largest events of its type, and it wouldn't be possible without the generous support of its sponsors. And I would also like to thank the small army of volunteers, without whom, of course, this event really couldn't go ahead. But I do hope you enjoyed the festival. I'm looking forward to the air display starting in just a few seconds, and thank you for coming along.
Well, perfect timing. Grateful thanks there to Alistair Welch for opening us. And you can see we have one aircraft in the sky ready to go. And it's a real honour to have Alistair with us here today, representing the King, of course. And it's been a monster year, this being the 85th anniversary of the Battle of Britain. But alongside that, of course, the 80th anniversary of victory in Europe and VJ itself. Absolutely extraordinary, but very sadly, a bit of inclement weather's coming in as we're about to start flying, so we may well have something of a limited display from Ian in the next few minutes, and I'll get back to you with the detail on that in just a moment. So you're in touch with the tower, aren't you? What's he been given? Is he being given commence display or not? Sorry, your FCC, yeah.
We're short of radios at the moment.
Oh!
Yeah, so that's the problem. So yes, I've got this. So
we didn't really meet properly, George. Yeah, we know each other.
Yeah.
I think you Well, with his trademark starting side slip or knife edge pass, as we call it. So what's extraordinary about this airframe is that you can actually use the fuselage to give yourself generate an extra lift. The aircraft itself, the design of this goes way back to the mid-40s. Young chap, yeah, just bidding our friends farewell here as we keep an eye on. Smoke is on. This means we are now going to convert this downward speed into extra energy and inertia to give you enough power and energy to go into upward maneuvers on the way up. Now, the great thing about pilots with these aircraft is they have a textbook of maneuvers already practiced in their heads, and they can adjust their display to match the environment. And you can see this is a little bit tricky. The wind is definitely coming up, so it'll be a little bit bumpy. Now, going back to the 40s, it was Curtis Pitts who began the design of these fantastic aircraft back in 1942 with just a very small engine, a 90 horsepower Franklin. But the whole thing essentially was to define and refine and move on and improve aerobatic performance and come up with an aircraft that really was able to dominate international aerobatic competitions. And he pretty much got it right first time with this aircraft, improving the engine to 180 horsepower and also making sure that in the mid-60s that symmetrical airfoils were the standard features as well, and that made inverted flight characteristics as you're handling it very similar to normal upright flight as well. And indeed they did dominate right across Europe, but particularly in UK. We had some very famous teams, notably the Rothmans team in the 70s. And these aircraft were the go-to aircraft if you wanted to impress people either with formation work or just individual competitive aerobatics. They have, of course, since been taken over by much more modern aircraft, the extra 330s, the NGs, the Edge 540s and XA41s, of course, all relatively newcomers in the last decade. But here Ian, a consummate professional here, just showing us what you can fit into a limited cloud base and a very bumpy inclement afternoon. So you can see now just how incredibly maneuverable this little aircraft is. Of course, it's very, very light as well. This is one of the lightest ones. If you're used to watching people like Richard Goodwin, he's got a very heavy 700 kilo aircraft with a 300 horsepower engine and a very different wing and aerofoil system on that. This a much more standard pit, slower power, but also much lighter as well, just over 500 kilos. But nonetheless, the important thing with most aerobatic flying is to make use of the available, not just the airspace, but of course the power that you have. And you'll see the height being used to great advantage. A lovely wing over there from Ian as he curls it round. And you can just see how quickly the clouds are moving. So all the time during the course of the display, all of the pilots will be adjusting their position along the flight line. So holding it up there almost into helicopter flying, but not quite, just leaning on that wind to keep the aircraft stable. It's a great little machine. When you see it taxi back in, you'll see just how incredibly small this is. And the pilot's definitely an integral part of the entire aircraft. there's quite a bit going on the ground here, of course. You'll get a chance to come and view it and maybe chat to the pilots later on this afternoon. But now, once again, good example of how turning that height into speed and into energy, enabling to go upwards for as long as possible, almost wiping the speed off of the airframe completely, before then just letting it bend over his back. As he comes over the top, he'll be looking behind him to make sure the wings are level, and then out comes a bit of G. Now, if you're not used to G, well, you're bound to be used to it, but you probably don't know you're weighing about 1 G right now. When you're turning an aircraft this tightly in the sky, you increase the amount of pressure on the body consummate with the amount of speed and the really the tightness of the turn that you're making. And it would not be unusual to be pulling in the region of 5-6 G in these aircraft in some of the tighter maneuvers that Ian is currently flying. Imagine therefore that somebody's pushing down on your head at 5 times your body weight. Look at him just hanging in the sky. They're letting it very gracefully fall out, all perfectly under control. One of the things you can't do much about is negative G, and that is the case when you're pushing away from you or the blood is rushing to your head. It's a very unpleasant maneuver. That's why pilots tend not to do a great deal of that. But for positive G, he'll be squeezing his stomach, tensing his muscles all around his upper body and his thighs to stop the blood running down to his feet. And there, once again, not quite a fully knife edge, but lovely side slip manoeuvre. Once again, if you missed it at the start there, using the fuselage to give himself an extra bit of lift as well, to do that very safely. A good tailwind made him look as though he was going an awful lot faster than he had on the clock. And there he goes. Now, classic wing wave there. That's Ian at the end of his display. Of course, whilst I don't want you to be throwing stuff up in the air, it would be nice to get your hands up in the air when the pilots do that a little later in the show, so they can get some recognition for the hard work they're putting in as well this afternoon. Of course, they spent hours and hours practicing these maneuvers, and certainly when you're doing aerobatics, it's something you need to practice ideally a couple of times a week. So that is Ian now, just at the end of his display, just calling for clearance to bring his little pits back in. And I'll just get an update on what we're putting up in the sky next. So it looks like so far we're sticking to schedule. The Catalina has taxied out, and I don't know about you guys, but for me this is one of the most romantic and impressive aircraft. It's a very, very large aircraft, so you'll have no trouble following it around the sky. But it really is a formidable beast and has a remarkable history in war zones as well as in civilian life as well. So there's Ian Smith safely back on the ground. We'll just wait for him now to clear the runway, and we'll get the Catalina airborne. Restarted the show that went a while.
Oh, the wings and wings and wheels.
Yeah.
I wasn't there this year. Often we're there with the glider.
It's lovely.
Yeah. It is really nice.
We're very keen to. I mean, I was brought up on the big ones in the 80s, but we're very keen to grow it Well, you can see now on the runway the marvellous Catalina, an absolutely beautiful aircraft, and for me, bringing so much nostalgia and, of course, romance to the skies. This got really, really long legs, this aircraft. Spent hours and hours across the North Atlantic patrolling for the enemy, of course, but of course at the same time also undertook a huge number of rescue operations as well. I refer to it as a great big flying albatross, something that many a downed air crewman was happy to see during the course of the Second World War. So we've got a lot of activity down in the parking area at the moment with the Aerobatics Stearman aircraft just starting up. And the Gazelle, you'll see rotors turning very shortly. A really interesting collection of aircraft here this afternoon. So there we go, on the roll. This aircraft comes from Plain Sailing Air Displays Limited and the Catalina Society, affectionately known as Miss Pickup. Well over 40 years of airshow experience now amongst this team. The aircraft itself owned by a syndicate of shareholders, pilots and non-pilots. Results giving an opportunity to own an affordable piece of aviation history. The Catalina Society is very much an active sister organisation supporting this pickup, giving you and everybody else the chance to contribute to the maintenance and operation of this wonderful aircraft. If you want to get more information about it when you get home, so you can just go to catalina.org.uk. So let's sit back and relax and take a really good look at this away from Duxford today. We'll join us for the entire weekend. Arguably the most famous and successful flying boat ever built. There are 4 of these built, and many other flying boats in discovery and the shadowing of the Bismarck prior to its destruction, and the sinking of several dozen units. Here now from right to left, the flags extended. Crews of the Catalinas claimed 2 of the 4 Victoria Cross medals in order to coast of the Parcos. After the war, surplus Catalinas served with numerous military and commercial operators all around the world, found new lives as many, and in this case, took up life as bombers, survey aircraft, or just air display stops. 14 or 15 of these. Certainly, the only Catalina So this aircraft celebrating its 82nd birthday this year, built by Canadian Vickers and Cartier. Royal Canadian Air Force in the autumn of 1943. Designated then as a Canso A, as the Canadians called this particular type. The aircraft hunted enemy submarines patrolling day and night along the coast of Western Canada. Post-war, it was used for Arctic survey work and briefly as a freighter before joining a search and rescue flight, where it served until finally being sold in 1961. So this time floats up, undercarriage down, in a landing configuration. If you look at those big blister windows on the side, that comes from a safari operation. And flying around in the back of that, I can assure you, having done it myself, it looks absolutely brilliant. It's great visibility. But these aircraft were able to literally loiter for a long, long time. So whatever roles they were involved in, it was a very capable machine indeed. Was converted to a water bomber fighting forest fires all over Canada and had seasonal work in France and Chile as well. And it was in the 1990s that it was purchased for an African safari project with passenger seats and those blisters I just mentioned, including also a rear air stair as well. Sadly ended up being abandoned. And that is when plain sailing located the airframe and declared it a candidate for future use, having transited all the way back to Duxford. Very long trip along the western coast of the USA, across the southern states, back up the eastern seaboard, and then a long trip across the Atlantic Ocean. That, of course, was nothing. That is the environment in which this aircraft operated. Coming in at a slightly higher speed pass now. The aircraft's flown at air shows all over Europe, from as far north as Iceland, Greenland, Arctic Norway, down to the south of France, Turkey and Spain. Also across in Poland and Moscow as well. Part in the 70th anniversary of the Battle of the Atlantic flypast down the Thames, that was back in 2013. And also flew around the coast of Britain, establishing a UK national record for the coastal circumnavigation of the UK, recognised by the Royal Aero Club. It was a distance of over 3,000 kilometres and the aircraft was airborne for 18 hours. So I've just heard the crew now coming to the end of their display, and they're shortly will be coming on to what we refer to as finals in the flying business. Landing back on the runway, and you'll get a chance, I hope, to give them a wave as well. It's marvellous to see this plane. It's absolutely, as you can tell, one of my favourites. I think it's just the most beautiful machine, well kept, and has got an enviable history both in the civilian and military world. Would normally have a crew of up to 8, with a service ceiling of around 14,500 feet, and a patrol range in excess of 2,500 miles. Powered by those two big Pratt & Whitney 1200 horsepower twin Wasp radials, massively reliable and really, really good, strong engines. Of course, you're never going to fly terribly fast in an aircraft that shape and size, but it doesn't matter. It did so well. It could also be armed as well with depth charges and machine guns, and occasionally a torpedo or two. And as I say, if you'd like to learn more about it, then you can either join the Catalina Society or just go to their website, catalina.org.uk. So the search and rescue helicopter you just see going off, that's clearly had a shout already. That's not part of the air display, but nonetheless it's always good to see them doing their business. And I don't know that I should shout about it, but I see a bit of a clearance coming in from the south and the west there at the moment. So keep your fingers crossed out there. This could be good news. So just lining up at the end of the runway, we've got the wing walkers. Magnificent sight they are. So while the Catalina comes back on the northern taxiway, just about to roll when they get clearance from our flight director, we have the magnificent men in their flying machines. Of course, we're talking Aerobatics. They're going to be upside down, inside out, round and round, roly-polies, and they're going to entertain the life out of you in the next few minutes. Now, not only are you only going to enjoy the flying you're about to experience, but you can do it yourself as well. If you go to aerobatics.com, you'll end up the website and a connection to one of the most delightful airfields in UK, Royal Flying Corps Rentham. It's very close to Cirencester. And here, driving down the runway now, full bore with the levers all fully forward. Dave Barrell and Brian Corns with the two girls, Kirsten and Emma, flying on top of the wing. So keep your eyes out to the left-hand side now in this wonderful clearing sky, which is just what we wanted to see this afternoon, as they leave a bit of smoke behind them. Dave and Brian in these magnificent machines, just using a bit of height. They'll be running in now. Clearly with a nice little tailwind as well, they'll be looking a little faster than normal. These girls on top, braving winds of 150 miles an hour. Yes, you've got to be tough up there as well. No communications between the girls. They'll be doing their routines whilst the boys in the cockpits will be turning the aircraft upside down. So they're going to do the same as everybody else, make use of this height, then they put the nose down, and then the show begins. Smoke coming on shortly, and that you'll be glad to know is all environmentally sound stuff, very much like baby oil. And these aircraft, again, taking us back to the mid-war periods, the 30s and early 40s, when these were the mainstay of military flying training for many, many years, and trained literally thousands of pilots. So I think they're just checking out the area below them, making sure the sky is clear, doing their own in-cockpit checks as well. Girls will be getting comfortable upstairs, and you'll see them rotating around their rigs. It is for real, and they also do wing walking for real, because towards the end of the display, they'll be taking a little walk around the top of that wing as well. Now, it was the end of the Great War when great strides were being made in aircraft development and also in flying skills as well. Aircraft could fly higher, faster, but they were also more reliable, although on occasion, of course, things would break, and repeatedly a gentleman called Orman Locklear decided to take a little walk on his airframe once around about 1980 to try and repair it, and that led to the start of the barnstorming era. And of course, with so many spare aircraft and pilots after the First World War, there was plenty of entertainment to be had. So coming in thick and fast now, let's see what we're going to get from these guys. They're pulling up. Will it be a loop? Yes, they're going all the way. Girls are upside down, hanging in their straps alongside the pilots, keeping themselves in perfect formation. Now there's a fantastic roar to these engines, and that's because these are also Pratt & Whitney Wasps, just single engines, but packing out 450 horsepower. And when you put all the levers forward, so the prop big Hamilton standard propeller around 9 feet long, and the tips of that go virtually supersonic, and that is the roar that you hear. Really excellent machines altogether, very strong, very reliable, ideal training aircraft, could take a fair bit of punishment as well. Although these particular aircraft are a little bit modified as well. More about that in a moment. Let's see what the boys are going to do next. You see the girls, keep your eyes peeled on them as well as they do their acrobatics while the boys complete their aerobatics. look at that, upside down. Absolutely marvellous position. Brian tucked in there right behind Dave Bowell, who's leading the formation here today. The girls swinging there, I hope you just caught that as they swung back into the upright position. So in addition to the powerful engines, larger than would normally have been fitted to the Stearmans in the early days, but they need the extra power because the carrying a passenger on a wing gives you a lot of drag, and the aircraft is not exactly made for speed either. But to help them maneuver during the course of the display, these aircraft are also modified with the addition of extra ailerons. And there they are, just repositioning for the break. Yes, these guys really are magnificent, and they're in their flying machines, gaily coloured, and as I mentioned, they're part of a stable of aircraft run by Vic Norman up in Cirencester. He's been in the business of wing walking for many, many years, and he's got 5 aircraft up there altogether. And to get a place on the wing, I can tell you it's very, very competitive indeed. Kirsten and Emma, both from the circus or ballet or dance backgrounds, and also you can see pretty small and lightweight individuals. Lovely crossover coming up. And you can hear the chit-chat going on behind me here in the control box. And that is because it requires a great deal of coordination and practice, of course. It's all highly rehearsed maneuvers. The girls as well, although they communicate in a different way, generally by hand signals. There's no radio connection between the girls and the pilots themselves. And there, another break called by Dave. Magnificent, those props going fully fine at the same time. Just giving that extra bit of power. Positioning on a day like this can be very tricky as well, because with that wind blowing, of course, the aircraft tend to be moved from left to right. So each break needs a slight repositioning maneuver to ensure they're back on track and in the middle of the airfield. Keep your eyes left and right now. And the smoke you see is not just for entertainment, but also a very good safety feature as well, enabling each pilot to be absolutely sure where their other aircraft partner is flying, and that enables these fantastically close breaks to be made throughout the course of the routine. Must be quite bumpy up there for them today as well, as they come back into a quieter moment. They'll just be checking their T's and P's, getting a bit of engine cooling perhaps, just thinking now about the next manoeuvre. Once again, just making use of the lovely break we've got in the weather here at the moment, and they'll be using this height to commence their next running. So whilst it sounded a fairly extravagant thing, referring back to Orma Locklear back 100 years ago, unsurprisingly his antics in walking around the wings came to a bit of a bitter end, and he was joined by another lady with the extraordinary name of Ethel Adair, who took up the sport as well, and that led into a lifelong entertainment. Now, keep your eyes peeled as they come in. Using this height now, he'll be putting the nose, or well, both of them will be putting the nose down, getting more speed. The girls now, the wind speed in their face is really beginning to build. And let's see whether they're going to roll or whether they're going to loop. And there you heard him calling. It is a roll. It's a fantastic sight and a wonderful, wonderful sound indeed. Really, really impressive flying. Not the easiest of conditions here today. So once again, continuing this magnificent sight. A reminder, you can do this yourselves as well. Just go to aerobatics.com. It's a great way to raise money for charity as well. They get plenty of business up there, and it's a fun thing to do, or treat your parents or your chums to a bit of a flight on top of the wing. So think back to those halcyon days. Of course, not just the barnstormers, the flying circuses, hugely popular during the 20s and 30s. And Vic and his team doing their very best to keep that heyday going for us here, for you to enjoy as well. Keep your eyes now on the girls. Here in their swan maneuver with the arms stretched out, a great beak into the sky, braving the strength of those strong winds that they're enduring. The aircraft itself now in the hands or underwritten by Boeing. Still wonderful, wonderful machine to fly. Lovely big roomy cockpits. The girls will eventually drop down into that and give you a wave, I hope, before they finish their display. Right now they're concentrating on moving around the top of the wing. There they are, giving them a wave. So come on, boys and girls, do give them a wave as well as they come past in their arabesque. Now you notice while they're maneuvering towards the trailing edge of the wings, it's necessary for them to put a foot down onto the fuselage itself. And that foot is right in front of the pilot's nose. Keeping a steady formation, always tricky on such a bumpy day as we've got here today, but in the very safe pair of hands, two very, very experienced pilots here. Smoke coming on, wonderful photographic opportunity, looking really close, and just look at those girls, the agility that they manage whilst flying and bumping around the sky is absolutely extraordinary. And that is why they recruit them from the acrobatic and circus and the dance world. Yeah, it's a wonderful sight, this, absolutely glorious, true romance. delighted to say we all fly in a much safer world than back in the 20s and 30s. But keeping that spirit alive when people are still innovating and experimenting. And then these aircraft today still being a very good preparatory training aircraft for going on to larger aircraft. But you see now the girls have stepped down. They're in the cockpit. So come on, boys and girls, whatever you got, hats, coats, umbrellas, give them a wave. So there they are now, just spinning around, spot on time. Calling now for clearance to land, and literally as the sun comes out and the sky opens up. Really, really fantastic. So in the front red one there, that's Dave Barrell and Kirsten, and behind him Brian Corns with Emma, wrapping up an absolutely fabulous display.
The seating stand doesn't help either, does it?
Takes your breath away, doesn't it? Magnificent flying. Well, what we're hoping to see next will be a contribution from Navy Wings. What was the Royal Navy's historic flight, now running as an independent charity, but supported as best as possible by today's Royal Navy. But again, something that you can contribute to when you get a moment. So there's music breaking out around me here as well. Next aircraft was never part of 617 Squadron, but nonetheless, it is great to see them as the Dam Busters theme breaks out around the marquee near the main Overlord Arena. Make sure you pick up a program and guide and map to ensure you have a happy afternoon here with us. So help you work out what you may wish to see later on in any of the arenas. Well, this is a real welcome sight to have this wonderful break in the weather. Just glorious. And this aircraft, you'll have no trouble spotting it now because it's in a high conspicuity colours and about to get airborne in the hands of Andrew Davis. As the wing walkers taxi their way back in and the girls jump back up on the top of the wing as well. There's a lot of conflict in the program. There's one more display about to start. So just getting airborne now is the Harvard from Navy Wings. So Andrew, or Mum as he's known to his mates across the flying display world, is just giving us a 1 minute warning to say that he's just almost ready to start displaying. After the display, this particular one, the Harvard, we're going to have a break for some parachuting from the Royal Navy Raiders, and then we'll recommence the flying after that. If you want to get a closer look at the aircraft and maybe chat to some of the pilots and crews, then all you have to do is you make your way down the fly line towards the hangars on the right-hand side of the runway area. And that's where all the pilots would be assembling towards the course of the afternoon. Meanwhile, a lot of stuff breaking out in and around the arenas. I think we're going to have a bit more gunfire very shortly, a field gun demonstration straight after this particular display. And here he comes. Great example of what was a very important training aircraft. Again, famous for training literally thousands of pilots, particularly Commonwealth pilots. But it comes from Navy Wings, and I mentioned that it was originally part of the Royal Navy's Aviation Heritage flight, but the newly formed, or relatively recently, about 5 years ago, Navy Wings has taken on the role of preserving and flying many historic naval aircraft for us to enjoy them for generations to come, aiming to inspire future generations to remember the service and sacrifice of those involved with naval flying, and also promote a deeper understanding of the important part played by the Royal Naval Air Service and the Fleet Air Arm in the history of our country. There are two main conspicuity colours that generally recommended for aircraft and indeed cars to a certain extent. It's yellow being right at the top there, but also black, and you'll often see a training aircraft with a yellow upper and a black under as well. The charity, however, is entirely now funded by public donations, and thus your support would be much appreciated. I'll give you more details of how to do that. But maintaining aging and historic and heritage aircraft, of course, just like the classic car world, it takes a lot of time, commitment and an enormous amount of money. These are not cheap aircraft to fly, and that's why they're treated very gently. You see Andrew here today is putting it through a relatively benign series of aerobatics, just the sort of aerobatics that every new pilot would be taught: loops and rolls and wing overs. And a roll. All of them, however, to look as simple as that, do take a fair amount of practice, and also important to not put too much loading, as we refer to it, onto the aircraft as well. I was talking about G earlier on, but the same applies to the airframe as well, and all pilots do their very best when flying historic aircraft not to overload or fly at too high a G to preserve the longevity of the airframe. This is just one of many aircraft in the Navy Wings collection, alongside a couple of Swordfish, a Supermarine Seafire, a Westland Wasp, a Stinson Reliant, very interesting and unusual aircraft, a Tiger Moth, and also hoping to get back in the air very soon, the Seahawk and of course Sea Fury. One of the other popular aircraft that all historic aircraft companies and outfits and charities run, of course, is the Chipmunk, a leading aircraft to flying the more heavyweight aircraft that you see in front of you, the North American Harvard. Making the most of a slightly nice benign gap in the weather here as well. Andrew putting it around into a delightful turn there, just repositioning. And once again making it look so straightforward. Coordinating between stick and rudder in all of the rolls, absolutely key. It's very easy to let the nose drop when you're doing those sort of maneuvers, but once again, absolutely no problem for Andy. Very experienced pilot indeed. So if you're interested in supporting them, there is merchandise on sale. Andrew just taking a look at you down there as well with that super topside pass. Not quite done just yet, though. So they've got a large team, primarily volunteers, based at the Royal Naval Air Station in Yeovilton, but you can get to them via their website as well on navywings.org.uk, and do your bit to help keeping these marvellous aircraft in the sky. So coming up there, coming over the top of the loop, it looks as though the aircraft's just run out of speed, but it isn't. But at there, the pilot just makes sure the wings are level, looks back over his shoulders, and then as you come down, putting on the G, reducing the power, and again, just very comfortably exiting the maneuver. So that's not backfiring, you can hear from the engine. By the way, that is the field gun demonstration just breaking out in the arena behind me. Harvard served literally in a huge number of countries around the world, and it was also possible, a very, very limited military combat role, but one or two were enhanced to deliver a bit of weaponry, but primarily seen as a mid-range trainer before going on to a heavier warbird type. Particularly today, it's a great intermediate from something like the Chipmunk to get your head and training into tailwheel flying, and then before moving on to the more advanced heavyweight and high-powered Spitfires, P-51 Mustangs. Very familiar sound there once again, as with the Stearmans, the props there almost going supersonic, giving that wonderful rasping sound. Here coming out of what we refer to, not entirely, but almost a half cube in there, as the rollout is, instead of completing the loop, just check the stick, roll it through 180 degrees, and then pull out, and again coming straight into a wing over. Lovely sight, looking really magnificent, great colour scheme. Andrew just calling now for his last pass, an opportunity for you to show your thanks as well by giving him a wave. This is the T6 here today. Andrew Davis, the Navy Wings, Harvard. Do give him a wave. Brilliantly flown. So we're just checking the timing there as Andrew repositions left hand behind us to bring the aircraft back in. I get the chance to take a little break as the action now commences in the Overlord Arena with the field gun demonstration. You can hear it just starting behind me. And the next act in the air will be the Royal Navy Raiders.
Field gun cruise, and that's the Fleet Air Arm. The other cruise being Portsmouth and Devonport. We'll be showing to come to the home of one of the former command field gun crews and not see a bit of field gun action. But as I say, if you're next had enough of looking up and you want to see a bit of spectacular, and we fly through the air but not at the heights they do, but something approaching the same sort of speeds, and by the way, all the way, come into the main arena, come and watch of our field gun crew. So field gun, in the most abstract terms, is a non-contact team race to drag 1.5 tons of artillery over an obstacle course in the best time possible, but also to win points against a team, the other team in the race, of course. That's what racing is all about. We exist to bring that noble sport back into the public domain, and then at the top level we are aiming once we get the right backing, is to bring the sport to
And the convex process is a very different convex to.
Anyway, well, if you want to take a lecture.
you really had it. So what you're going to see in a minute is a run out, back and home. This is a full run. I'll explain it as you go along, but because of time constraints and the fact that we have that fine Navy aircraft doing its thing, we will be straight into the action. So the crew's just shaking out now. The gun and limber we're using today, we've got a 12-pounder at the end of the track, all on its own sim. Mark's just walking off now, ready to service that gun. But the crew have a lightweight gun that was designed to allow the students at Wellington College to run, whereas a 12-pound has a 900-pound barrel, for example. Our barrel just weighs 200 pounds, but it allows us to cut down significant risk and return these volunteers, who are all students and people who have day jobs, back to work on Monday and Wednesday. Just looking now to the crew captain, Josh, on the back of the gun. He's given me the all clear. He's ready to go. So now, listen in as he starts to run, and I'll pick up the commentary as soon as the starting gun goes. So they go on the gun. Tommy and Dan sprint away. Tommy's going to go straight across the chasm. Dan's going to receive the gun, his arms up so that the gun crew have a aiming mark. And there's the iconic cantilever over the wall with the limber. Mark and Toby have been doing this a long time together. Absolute trust. Don't bury their nose in the dirt anymore, but come very close. So now they're going to strip the wheels off. Fedder and Leo will go across the chasm on the Traveller, with Dan hanging off the back. First wheels across, Tommy hauls them across, and then they're down ready to receive the gun. The gun will come across in bits. So you'll now see the barrel going up on the top of the ramp, 200 pounds straight up there. Harrison and Nathan lifting it in. Harrison's just incurred a penalty because he dropped the mud spike in the CAS. And now the carriage goes up. The carriage goes up and it will go across into the wheels, and then the barrel will follow. So the track as you see it, they've cleared the home wall, they're now onto the home ramp and moving across the chasm. The chasm is a 28-foot wide bottomless pit. Anything that drops on that is lost to the crew, but for the purposes of this demonstration will allow them to recover the mud spike. So the sport's a non-contact team race at its highest level, against crews of 18, carrying a 1.5 of artillery. Harrison now rides the barrel. He gives the slip. For those wise heads that have seen this many times before, you'll notice there is a little bit of a pause. We have to put that in for safety's sake. They've controlled aggression, driving that gun away. The wheels are there ready to receive the gun, because nothing goes through that hole without being twisted, turned, stripped. Wheels come off and then the gun's going to get turned. You can currently watch that limber come across. Dan will steer the limber around the 10 foot, which is the spar you see in the enemy ramp, and then they'll run it away to the wall, catching up close with the gun. The gun's now facing the wrong way for those seasoned field gunners amongst you, but it's facing down the track to go into action so that we can reduce the hazard to the crowd, but we can get close to you for the action. As soon as everybody's down and ready, then the crew captain gives fire. So we're firing shotgun blanks, so we get the joy of the awful smell of them in just a moment. But that's on the third round, that'll be the conclusion of the run out. So it's called misfire, which means that actually that concludes the run out. So that's the first leg, out, back and home. That's the first leg of the run out complete, 3 rounds. Round of applause please, these guys are doing it because they love it, but also for your entertainment. So Josh will now just steady the crew. Once he's happy and they're ready, and the ammunition's been checked, we've had a misfire, so the ammunition's been checked, and then reloaded, then we'll go into the run back. So seasoned field gunners will say it's just out, back and home, but they'll also say it's a ton and a quarter of tin that we're carrying. So our wheels are significantly lighter than 12-pounder wheels. Our wheels are probably about 20 kilos. You know, they're mixing our units. And a field gun 12-pounder wheel is about 55 kilos, or 120 pounds. Our barrel weighs 200 pounds. The barrel that you see at the other end of the track weighs 900 pounds. So Josh just checking in, making sure everybody's in one piece still. So one of the crews just called a wait for the stop. Josh, the crew captain, will check everybody's ready. So there's structured command in there. So Josh is the crew captain on this occasion, and there's a limber captain and a gun captain, so that they can control each group of parts, for want of a better phrase, each piece of equipment independently, and get best pace out of them. You see Toby's hands are up. Watch what happens to that slack pole, and the reason why he puts his hands up. And they're off. So Toby puts his hands up ready to receive that, and off it goes. There you see. Cantilevered over again. Tommy's away to get across the chasm. Get ready to pull the kit backwards and forwards. So Leo coming up the course of the traveller. The loaded arm always goes up first. You've got to wheel on your arm and try and get it up after you put your other hand up. It's not going to happen. Now the limber's coming back. Ball and go. Nathan has to step off, trusting his teammates, and then they catch it as it drops off the traveller. Last spike goes across again. Pull to the traveller. Now when it was hooked up on the way across, it was hooked up on the top loop. But on the way back it's going to be hooked up on the lower loop, go right to the top of the wire, where we're hooking up on the gun loop. Toby at the bottom of the shear leg is controlling that barrel as it comes down, ready for Harrison to drop it in the carriage. So two wheels are waiting, the barrel's waiting, all we're waiting for now is the carriage. So that's going to hook up. Harvey turns his head away, doesn't want carriage traveller rash, and off they go. Wheels on, and then between Harrison and Toby it's a controlled descent, but a fast one, and then the barrel into the gun. Last wheels away. Now Dan's going to be the last one across. And as soon as they're all down and set, we're going to the second firing. 3 rounds. Fingers crossed for a clear 3 rounds. 2, 3, and that's the run back. Round of applause, please. I think they deserve it. Okay, well they get their breath back. What I want you two to do is breathe with me, because what they're going to do in a second, they're going to go for about 10 seconds. They're going to go flat out. To do that, to go as fast as they possibly can, they need you behind them. The louder you shout, the louder you scream, the faster they go. So with me, if you haven't already had a drink to lubricate your throat, please do so. But with me, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out, breathe in. Right, you're all ready now. And they're looking like they're ready. Just looking to the crew captain to signal when they are. So this is the only phase when they're allowed to do some preparatory work. And the drag ropes go out ahead of the gun. So that's why he's in the hole in the wall. That's Tommy, ready to go. Final adjustments. So now I'm looking into the crew captain. And there's a hand. So he's going to check with his guys that they're ready. He's going to go into the detail of it, and then they're off. So what you'll see is the limber go through. Come on then! Scream for them! Let's hear it go! Go, go! These guys turn out every Saturday for this. They turn out to do it because they love it. They turn out to do it to entertain. They turn out to do it to keep this sport alive. Now let's show them some appreciation. Let's show them what a fantastic job we think they're doing. Because they are. Lightweight kit, but it still takes a lot of effort, a lot of skill, and they're dedicated to the training. Now it goes! Come on then! All the way in now, boys, all the way! Thanks for showing your appreciation. The gun crew will now fall in the chasm. We've had a guest appearance today by Danny Tregarthen. Danny, true, cheers. Long-time field gunner. His Navy duties as a serving warrant officer. Keep him away from training with us every week. But we're trying to tempt him back by degrees, and today's his first day back as a prize. Ladies and gentlemen, Field Gun Sport Foundation crew, please show your appreciation. Ladies and gentlemen, you can see them go out back and home again at 17:30. But for now, that's all, and we're proud to hand over to On the Edge Motorcycle Stunt Show. Cheers, Scott. Have a great one.
Away from the second installment. Oh my goodness, I feel caffeinated by the way. That coffee you got from that beautiful horse box, definitely doing the trick. Thank you so much. Right, we are moments away from the second installment of the On the Edge Motorcycle Stunt Show. If you didn't catch our first show this morning, where were you guys? But if you're excited for it now, come and push up to the barriers and come check it out. If you're over there, you're thinking, I'll get a good view from there, you'll get a better view from over here. So come and check it out. The VIPs are here already. Thank you guys, thank you for joining us. Your dress is fantastic. I feel so underdressed, thank you so much. Come on over and check it out. The On the Edge Motorcycle Stunt Show. I've got a massive appreciation for the field. a 300cc. Smell the two-stroke. It's so... I love that smell. I can't help it. 300cc of power in that bike. Around 80 kilos. Give it up for him, ladies and gentlemen. It's the amazing Mr. Deck Bullock. Now, Deck, I said 80 kilos there, and it was a bit ambiguous whether I was talking about yourself or the bike, to be honest. But so it's like 35, a bit of a diet. He's been on a diet. Right, let's start the show with some technical stuff then, shall we? Even just airing into that is very impressive. Let's start the show with some technical stuff then. So over here, these are all the bits of apparatus that we brought. This is to emulate what these guys do on the big wheel championship stages. So, this bit of apparatus here we call it the Dragon's Teeth. The Dragon's Teeth. That's a Parco moment. I'll say Dragon's Teeth and you guys go, ooh! Check it out, the Dragon's Teeth. Very good. Good option, Joe. Look. So, this is all about technical skills. Can you get over your treatment without putting your foot down? So check him out, guys. If you see something impressive, you've got to let him know. He loves to be cheered on. Holding down the hydraulic brake. Ow! He's kind of got stuck in the middle there. Right? Don't give him out a complex. Give him a round of applause anyway. So I reckon it's partly your fault. It did. Yeah, it was me who set them up, I'm afraid. What about sit in the middle and hold on to it? What way you can try to into the middle? Into that bit. Hit my vulnerable. If you're going to wear a helmet and pads and all that, yeah? Yeah, so I just get in there. Get my keys. Yeah, okay then. Right, I'm going to get inside this. Really, if this is going out live now, and if it's about I'm sorry, Mum. I'm so sorry. I know you told me not to do this bit. And I should get my invoice paid first. It tells me every time. I'm going to get in the middle. Do you want to see this? Should I risk my life for your entertainment? Okay. These people do not care about me. Right, Deck, do not hurt me. Do not hurt me. Remember what happened in Birmingham? Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Guys, please make some noise for him. Please cheer him on. Why do I let you do this? Guys, I think you've blown over his clock eggs as well. Please make some noise for him, ladies and gentlemen. This is the terrifying bit. Oh, yeah! Give it up for him, guys. I never doubted him for a second. That was terrifying, yeah. Precision that was. Alright. Let's put you in a bit more danger. See if you can get over this obstacle. Purely on the back wheel. All back wheel action, alright? Now, you managed to get through the last show. I want to see you complete it all the way through. Each one you get through, the crowd's going to get louder and louder. It's going to be a crescendo. It's going to be an explosion. We're going to see the red arrows and fireworks and stuff. Can't guarantee red arrows and fireworks, but we're going to go wild for you at the end. Lots of people checking their watches now. Red arrows are so sick. Come on, ladies and gentlemen, he's on the one wheel. And a sweet hop off the end. That's the experience I'm talking about, guys. It is so amazing to watch a master of their discipline. Such a privilege. If you're enjoying it, please give them a round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. Right, let's move on to some more technical stuff, shall we? These boxes here, yeah. It looks like little platforms of Oracle props or something. Yeah, there's no racing. No racing on the side. Well, I think I have to do a parkour. I'll run across if you try and ride across. But look, this is really showing the technical ability here. As he rolls right through, he's going to have to do this 90-degree turn. And that is exactly where we're going to see the skill. And he splits it behind it. Feathering the clutch as he releases it into position. It's going to be so impressive. So please, when you see it, you're going to have to go wild for it. It takes some time. That's what I'm talking about, guys. Even just hopping over, it takes a lot of concentration, but it definitely takes motivation. Giving you a good look of his bike there as well. Check him out as he bounces, hopping his way through. He makes some noise for him, ladies and gentlemen. The one and only Deck Bullock. Alright, Deck. Let's do some dangerous stuff. We'll do some big bits now, shall we? Yeah? Right, some big bits. So, when you're out there in the wilderness, when you're riding your bike through the forests and the jungles and all the crazy stuff that you're doing on the World Championships, this is meant to represent the sort of waterfalls and the cliffs that these guys ride up. So why not put 2 steps on the back of a lorry and see if you can ride up that? That's what I say. So Jack, 30 shots and you control the bike, get you all the way up to the top, get a little bit too close for comfort for me. Then honestly, it's not meant to be me doing the dangerous. I'm clinging on here. I am literally on the edge. Oh, on the edge. I get it now. Right, come on. Let's make some noise for him. Get him on the top of this lorry. Come on, Jack. Come on, all the way up onto the top of the lorry. Firing himself up. Yes! Make some noise for him, guys. All the way up on the top of the lorry. 3 more payments in the glass. Right. How about the sweet jump? All the way up. It is an air show. These people want to see you take flight. I want to see you take flight. Send yourself off this up ramp here. Generate enough speed that you create lift. I don't know how to do it, I'm just kidding. But however you do it, use that magic where you just force yourself. The guys from the Air Force can tell me, I'm sure. But send yourself up this jump, get to the top. Oh, give me a second, I was a bit nervous there. Are you going to give it one go? Should I lie down? If I want to say. If I lie down here, it's more peril, it's more excitement. Yeah? Only because someone will want to see me get landed on, I can tell. I'm going to lie down here and let Jack jump over the top of me. Probably not a good idea. Do you want to see it? You're too excited to see it. Alright, if this is the last cheer I'm ever going to hear, it must be loud. I'm going to lie down and let Jack jump over the top. Do you want to see it? Right, Jack. Right. Get me good side. Get me good side. Okay. Right, Jack, do not hurt me. Do not hurt me. Please make some noise for Jack Bullock on the approach. Come on. Yes! I wasn't scared. Give it up for him, guys. Jack Bullock flying up on the tip of the van. Oh. Right. See, though, I think people kind of like the peril. Yeah? Should we move on to the big pyramid, shall we? Right. Check this thing out, this giant pyramid. No one knows how it even got here. We're just here in the morning. One of the 7 wonders of the world. Yeah, I don't know who dropped it. Some sort of Mayan calendar or something, I don't know. But this giant pyramid here, this takes a lot of skill. Takes a lot of strength just to erect this thing. So going over the top of it must be absolutely wild. It's very steep. You're going to need a lot of concentration. You're going to need a lot of motivation. So, if you're enjoying Jack, you think he's great at what he does, come on, ladies and gentlemen, let's do a massive round of applause. Let's cheer him on. This is a wild one. Here he goes, powering all the way up, stalling, give it up, you guys. And really down on the front wheel. That was impressive. I thought you photographers liked the scariness. You were really backing away from that. Have you seen how close he gets to me? Yeah, alright. Careful, can we lie him down? Why is it not a good idea for them to lie down, but it's okay for me to potentially die? Right, sweet. You're a volunteer? It's thrilling. It's thrilling. Alright then, I'll lie down. I'm gonna lie down all these guys that travel with on odd weekends jump over the top of me. You guys want to see it? You guys are first aid trained, yeah? Right. Do not hurt me, right? Remember what Okay. Alright, I'm gonna lie down. Which way do you want me? Yeah? Oh my goodness, honestly, sticking at school. You can be anything you want. Right. Please make some noise for Jack Bullock, ladies and gentlemen, because he needs to hear it for you. Oh my God! Can you at least keep your eyes open, Jack? Terrifying. Right, I'm going to my happy place now. Everybody please make noise for Jack Bullock! Oh, you wasp, man! Honestly! Every day I kind of forget about this moment until it happens. Oh my goodness! You can't come creeping in like that!
Thanks very much.
Oh man! That's essentially flirting at the workplace. I'm going to have to talk to somebody in HR about this. Oh my goodness! I've just washed my hair and I've got white cracks in it now. Oh, yeah. Right, ladies and gentlemen, please make some noise for the amazing. He said he was only going to do a little one. You're ready. Oh, breathe it in. Please make some noise for the amazing devil. Is it over? Is it over? Give it up. That's a skid mark there. Not just a bike. Give it up for me, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah. So terrifying, honestly. I've got a ropey spray down here like a boarding lad on right now. Alright. We must be about ready for a finale, Bet. Yeah? If you've enjoyed the show, if you think he's brilliant, please make all the noise for this amazing talent. Right, so the big job. He's going to try and send it off this, straight up onto the top. It's going to take a lot of concentration, it's going to take some motivation, but look how windy it's just today. Yeah? I feel like this is payback. Yeah, you make me eat grass. See what I can do. Right. This is going to definitely take a lot of encouragement, so please guys, look all the people are expecting you to crash now, their phones are out there. Right, here we go. If you've enjoyed that, please make all the noise for him. Let's count it down together. Ready? 5, 4. Here he goes. Come on, Jack. All the way up. Yes! Give it up for him, guys. Flying high at the top of the diamond. Thank you so much for watching our show, everyone. Thanks so much for streaming and cheering. One more time, give it up for the amazing talent that is Mr. Jack Bullock and the On the Edge Motorcycle Stunt Show. Thanks so much, Jack. We're going to be back at 5 o'clock for the final show of the day. Thank you so much for sticking around. Thanks for watching the show. Hope you guys are having a great time. We're having a blast out here. We'll be back at 5 o'clock. Thank you so much. Cheers.
Thank you, and it's
Anyway, I've got a headset there ready for you, or you can go outside of the radio mic as you wish. Where are they? Where's the DZ?
right. Can you see right ahead where
Red and white patch?
yeah, where the red and white patch is?
Yeah.
If you come forward about 20 metres,
Yeah.
she's there, but she's just slightly off to the left with 3 guys. If you've got your binoculars, are you able to play music as well?
I've been doing that all the time, yeah. But at the moment, there's too many conflicts. I mean,
Is it? Oh.
Well, I had the bloody field gun going on here.
Oh,
At
right.
the same time as an orchestra was playing over there.
Oh.
But I can play. What have you got it on? USB?
No, I got it on my phone. Or is that no good?
I haven't got a connecting. link,
Oh,
so-
then we can't have music. Unless you can play your own music.
Well, what is it that you're playing?
AC/DC Thunderstruck.
Again?
Oh, is that bad? Is that all you get asked all the time? Well, let's choose something else then.
No. But so many teams have used it in the past.
Have they?
In the past, yeah. No, I've got it.
We can always have something else uplifting.
I thought, well, the bloody Falcons use that as well.
Do they?
Yeah, I played it 2 weeks ago.
Oh! I started using it at Bournemouth Rugby Sevens for the artillery about 15 years ago.
Yeah.
And I stole it off the Red Devils because they were using
Well,
it.
no, the Typhoon pilot was the first to use it about 10 years ago.
Oh right, okay.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Oh, wow.
And then everybody got bored with that after we did about 20 displays.
Yeah.
No, I'll happily play it if that's what the team likes.
Well, I just said to them, "Do you want music?" They said, "Yeah, why not?" So I mean, we can have anything.
yeah, I'm pumping out music all day.
I've been listening to the
But-
Beatles over there. I've been
Yes,
enjoying.
that's
Really
me,
enjoying
that's
that.
me.
Yeah, I was enjoying.
Yeah, I put the Eagles on earlier on.
2 people coming in the middle seat, please. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much indeed, Trevor. I've got to say that was a nail-biting parachute jump, and I'm hugely impressed with the Royal Navy out there this afternoon. Right bang on their limits, 20 knots, and pretty miserable and wet. And believe it or not, it looks like we've got another clearance in the weather coming up as well. Well, in a couple of minutes' time, when I've checked what's coming up, I hope to be chatting to the wingworkers, the Aerobatics team, who you saw displaying a little bit earlier on, and just to find out what it was like to fly here this afternoon.
We are just about to start at any time.
Well, we're just checking on the wind gusts at the moment before we launch the next aircraft, which will be the Sia Machete, the little red and white aircraft, a really super little aircraft. But we understand the stamp formation are now on frequency, and they will be landing very shortly. Aircraft that they're flying today, so hold on to your hats.
Sorry guys, we just need to sort this schedule out first.
Can we do it tomorrow then?
Yeah, sorry?
We can come back tomorrow.
Yeah.
If you want.
Okay, sorry, I'll get out of here, Bonnie. Somebody else can. So, Stamp going to try and land, which is going to be quite a feat of endeavour in those aircraft.
Yeah, I was just wondering whether if they're going to taxi, they might want wingwalkers.
They actually, once they turn off wind, they will, won't
Yeah.
they?
Or they just taxi to the end and park into wind.
Yeah. So, so as far as chit chat's concerned, there literally aren't many people there at the moment anyway.
We can do
It's
it
true.
tomorrow.
I'm very happy for you to sit here a bit longer. I just want to work out
the pilots today. They get far too much glory, don't they? So we do them another day. But I do love the aircraft. It's one of my favourites. Absolutely superb. Well, that's Kirsten and Emma from Aerobatics Wingwalkers. And you can do this, can't you, out there? Anybody can have a go. Is that right?
It's correct. We have our own private airfield based in the Cotswolds. So we are Aerobatics. We are the only professional formation wingwalking team in the world. And you can come and try it. If you go to gowingwalking.com, you'll find all of the info. So come and visit us in the Cotswolds and fly on the wing.
Fantastic.
Thank you so much.
No, it's a real pleasure to have you. Bring it on tomorrow. Let's have more of the same. Superb. Well, there you heard it from the professionals. They've no doubt earned their rest for the afternoon. And as the sun comes out, I hear the Mishap taxiing. So that'll be displaying next. Well, we're about to start the second half of the flying display, and in this half we've got the Mishap you see taxiing out at the moment. That'll be followed by the Solo Gazelle. After that, hopefully the stamp formation if we get them all safely on the ground, and then finishing off this afternoon with a Spitfire pair. So whilst all that is going on, we've also got the Harvard taxiing now. That's going to be making its way back to Navy Wings base at Yeovilton. Meanwhile, coming in the first of our 4 Stomp aircraft, and you can see very bumpy approach for these guys. That's Richard Ward, just made a safe arrival on terra firma, and they'll be coming across to park in the pilot's parking area up along the right-hand side. And you see 2 of his other wingmen just making their way. In fact, we've got the 4th member there as well. And we hope we will be seeing their formation in around about 20-30 minutes' time. So just a reminder, please, not just to all of you visitors here today, but also to all the traders, everybody around the show area and arena, please ensure that you keep a hold of all your belongings. Any loose articles can be a danger to the aircraft. Please dispose of all your rubbish very, very safely and sensibly, and be careful if something does start blowing across the showground. Thank you. Well, unsurprisingly, the stamp formation were finding it very tricky to manoeuvre on the ground. They're fine in the air, but of course with the strength of this wind, it's a little bit tricky. Even that seagull up above has given up hope and decided to shoot off in the other direction at a great rate of knots. And we clearly have a mishap there at the moment, but everybody's safe, and a assistant is on his way to the blue stomp there. Well, you'll be glad to know, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, that no injuries have occurred during the course of that mishap. And you will appreciate from what I said earlier on, with such a strong wind, and they're very light, vulnerable, and obviously historic aircraft, these Belgian Stomps. So we'll just sort them out, and with any luck, we will hope to get some more activity going around the showground. But if you would just heed my previous warning, which was to hang on to everything that you've currently got with you. Clearly this gusty wind is going to last for some time now. So please keep a hold of everything. As I mentioned, I can see one or two things of litter going across the airfield. That is also a danger to the aircraft. So please keep a hold of all your rubbish and dispose of it sensibly. Thank you. Well, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's going to take us a little while just to clear the airfield and return that to status. The next event, we'll try and get the Harvard away, and then we'll hopefully recommence flying. But that's yet to be decided. We just need to ensure that everybody is not just safe themselves. You'll be glad to know there are no injuries involved, which is good news for us all here today. But we need to take care of the aircraft in this very strong wind. Meanwhile, there has been a set of car keys mislaid around the show site somewhere. We're not sure where it is, but it is a set of Skoda keys. And if you happen to see them or find them, would you please take them to the control point at the entrance to the showground? Please, Skoda keys, keep a good lookout and take them to the showground control point. Thank you. So, ladies and gentlemen, just by way of an update, we have now got clearance to launch the Harvard, get that on its way back to its bedding at Royal Naval Air Station Yeovilton, and then we're just discussing with the pilots now what is possible to fly and what isn't. Sadly, it's out of limits for the Spitfires now, so we won't be seeing them. But we also have one other aircraft that may launch, and we'll keep you updated with that. Well, I'm also delighted to see that my friend John Windover has made it here in the Yak, which is marvellous news. It's a very interesting aircraft, and so we look forward to seeing that tomorrow. Well, it will perhaps not come as a great surprise to you, but with the action we have and an increasing and very difficult and dangerous wind blowing, the decision has been made to cancel all flying for the rest of the afternoon. And hopefully you'll get the chance to come back to tomorrow, or at least spend a bit of time perhaps on the showground before you rush away. But we can only apologise for that. It's obvious that it's not of our doing. It's absolutely a very, very strong wind indeed right now. And of course, by the time we clear the airfield, then it'll be getting a little bit later. So thank you so much for coming and supporting the Lee Victory Festival here today. And certainly some of these elements completely out of our control. But we wish you a safe journey home, and certainly please just remember to take everything with you. Please hold on tight to everything, and certainly that includes all the rubbish as well. Just dispose of that safely and sensibly on your way out. But thank you again once more from the organisers here for your support to the Victory Festival, and we all hope you have a safe journey home, and hopefully see some of you again tomorrow. So just another call now, just to, in case you missed the last message, all flying for the day has now been cancelled as a result of the extremely strong winds we're experiencing here on the show site. And we ask you please to make your way safely and slowly to your vehicles, and have a safe journey home. Thank you so much for your support once more.